Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode from my journey through Iraq. Today, I'm taking you to a place that completely blew my mind, the ancient city of Hatra. Maybe you've never heard of it before, or maybe you've just seen the name somewhere on a map. But trust me, this place deserves way more attention than it gets. It's one of the most important archaeological sites in the Middle East, and at the same time, one of the most magical places I've ever visited. When I first heard about Hatra, I honestly didn't know what to expect. It was just a name hidden somewhere in the desert. But the more I read about it, the more I felt that this was going to be something special, and I was right. As I got closer, I felt something strange, something powerful, a mix of respect, curiosity, and excitement. It felt like stepping into another world, another time. This video isn't just going to be about ruins and stones. I want to show you why Hatra was so important, how it survived the attacks of powerful empires, why it became a center of religion and culture, and why it still stirs deep emotions in people today. Most of all, I want to share my personal experience, what it felt like to stand in the middle of a city that was once a symbol of strength and faith, and that now stands silent, holding stories that go back thousands of years. So sit back, grab a coffee or tea, and join me on this journey into Hatra, a city that breathes history and proves that even in the middle of the desert, life, faith, and extraordinary stories can rise and flourish. Reaching Hatra isn't something that just happens by accident. It's far from the busy streets of Baghdad or the modern cities of northern Iraq. Getting there feels like stepping off the main path and heading deep into history itself. The road slowly changes. The landscapes become emptier, the air drier, and the horizon wider. Every kilometer feels like you're traveling not just through space, but through time. I remember looking out of the car window and seeing nothing but desert and endless plains. There were moments when I asked myself, how could a great city have ever existed here, in the middle of all this emptiness? But that's the beauty of it. Hatra did exist, and not only did it exist, it thrived. It was here, in this remote and harsh land, that people built one of the most powerful and beautiful cities of the ancient world. As I approached the site, the first thing I noticed were the outlines of ancient walls rising from the sand, silent, massive, and timeless. There's something surreal about it. You're surrounded by nothing but desert, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, this incredible city appears. Standing strong after almost 2,000 years, it's like the past decided to stay and wait for you. Walking towards the ruins, I felt a deep sense of respect. You can almost feel the stories here. The wind blowing through the stone arches, the sunlight hitting the carved temples, everything whispers something about the people who once lived, prayed, and dreamed here. What struck me the most was the silence. In a place that was once full of life, markets, soldiers, worshippers, and kings, now there's only the sound of the wind. And yet, that silence isn't empty. It's full. Full of memories, of echoes of a time when Hatra was a beacon of power and belief. It was in that moment I realized that Hatra isn't just a collection of ruins, it's a time capsule. It's a message from the past, telling us that even in the harshest conditions, humanity is capable of creating beauty, strength, and meaning. Hatra was born in the 2nd or 3rd century BC, during a time when the region was at the crossroads of civilizations. It stood right on the edge between the Roman Empire to the west and the Parthian and later Sasanian empires to the east. That location made it more than just a city, it made it a gateway, a place where cultures, religions, and ideas collided and merged. At its height, Hatra was part of the Kingdom of Adiabene, and later became an independent city-state under Parthian influence. It was surrounded by massive circular walls over 6 kilometers long and protected by dozens of towers. Its design wasn't just for defense. It was a symbol of power, a message to the world that this was a city meant to last. But what really set Hatra apart was its wealth and influence. It became a major religious and trading center. Caravans carrying silk, spices, and precious goods from the east would stop here before heading to the Mediterranean world. The wealth that flowed through its gates funded incredible architecture. Temples dedicated to a mix of Mesopotamian, Greco-Roman, and Arabian gods. This blend of cultures is one of the most fascinating things about Hatra here. Gods from different civilizations were worshipped side by side. Statues of Greek deities stood next to Mesopotamian idols, and temples were built with both local and Hellenistic styles. It was a city that embraced diversity and thrived because of it. And despite being surrounded by empires far larger than itself, Hatra wasn't weak. In fact, it became famous for something few cities could claim. It successfully resisted not one, but 2 Roman invasions. In the 2nd century AD, the Roman Emperor Trajan tried to take the city and failed. A few decades later, Emperor Septimius Severus also laid siege and failed again. Hatra's defenses and its people's determination were legendary. For nearly 300 years, Hatra remained a shining example of strength and independence, a symbol of what a city could become when faith, strategy, and resilience come together. Walking through the ruins today, you can still feel the spiritual weight this place once carried. Hatra was not just a political and economic center, it was a deeply religious one. Temples dedicated to Shamash, the sun god, stood at the heart of the city. Shrines to Nergal, Hermes, and Ulat lined the sacred spaces. And each temple told a story of belief, a story of how people here saw the universe and their place in it. The architecture is breathtaking even now. Massive stone arches, intricate carvings, towering columns, all of it built more than 1,800 years ago, yet still standing proud. The craftsmanship reflects a mix of influences: Roman arches, Persian layouts, Mesopotamian motifs. It's as if Hatra took the best ideas from all the cultures around it and blended them into something uniquely its own. But beyond the temples and palaces, Hatra was a living city. Archaeologists have found evidence of homes, markets, workshops, and public squares. Life here was vibrant. Traders spoke different languages, priests performed rituals, and ordinary people went about their daily lives surrounded by art, architecture, and faith. It's easy to imagine the sounds, the calls of merchants, the prayers echoing from temples, the footsteps on stone streets. But no city, no matter how powerful, is eternal. In the mid-3rd century AD, the mighty Sasanian Empire rose in Persia. Their armies were stronger and their ambitions greater than anything Hatra had faced before. Around the year 241 AD, the Sasanian king Shapur I launched a campaign to expand his empire, and Hatra was directly in his path. This time, the city's legendary defenses weren't enough. Some sources suggest betrayal from within, that the gates were opened not by force, but by treachery. Whatever the cause, Hatra fell. Its temples were looted, its walls broken, and its people scattered. A city that had once defied Rome was finally brought to its knees. And yet, even in ruin, Hatra never truly died. Its memory lived on in stories, in legends, and in the stones themselves, stones that refused to crumble completely. even after centuries of desert winds and shifting empires. Standing here today, centuries after its fall, Hatra still commands respect. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site now, recognized for its historical and cultural significance. Walking through the ancient gates, you can't help but feel humbled. It's strange. The city is empty, silent, and partly destroyed, but it's still alive. The energy here is undeniable. Maybe it's because the walls have seen so much glory and defeat, faith and war, life and death. Maybe it's because even though everything around it has changed, Hatra remains a witness to it all. For me, visiting Hatra wasn't just about history. It was about connection to the past, to the people who once walked these streets, and to something bigger than myself. You realize that humanity has always been capable of creating greatness, even in the harshest conditions. And that no matter how much time passes, some places continue to speak to us. So, what does Hatra teach us? To me, it's a reminder that strength isn't always about size or power. Sometimes it's about spirit. This city stood against empires, thrived in the desert, and blended cultures and beliefs in ways that were centuries ahead of their time. Even though much of it is gone, what remains is enough to inspire awe. It's a place where history feels close, not as words in a book, but as stones under your feet and wind on your face. If you ever get the chance to visit Iraq, make the journey. It's not the easiest place to reach, but it's one of the most unforgettable. And if you do, take a moment to stand in the center of Hatra, close your eyes, and listen. You might just hear the whispers of the past. Thank you for watching and coming with me on this journey into one of the world's most remarkable ancient cities. Don't forget to subscribe if you love stories like this, and I'll see you in the next adventure.